Hi everyone, welcome back to episode number 58 of Allow It. I hope you missed us. We missed you, I think.
Yeah, sort of, kind of.
Maybe. Look, it's a full house, everybody. We've got guests.
Yes.
Yay! We love guests.
Of course.
Mimi's back again. Unfortunately,
back
for
by popular demand.
us,
No,
amazingly
unfortunately
for
for me.
you. And for the person who commented and said that we need some testosterone and some males, here you go.
Not quite a male.
Here you go.
For Mimi.
No. As in, we're not doing it. We're gonna get
they
guests
said they want
that we
testosterone.
want. We're not gonna pick guests
Who
that
said
you
that we
want.
need some males?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we got a comment
Someone did.
a couple of weeks ago. It said that our opinions are okay, but they would rather have like a male perspective. But this is a female dominant podcast. You'll come to the wrong place. We will have a few obviously male guests here.
Look at them always trying to silence
Of
black
course.
women.
Exactly. But mainly we will obviously have our girls on the podcast. Exactly.
Shout out to all our males.
Shout out to, exactly.
Yes,
I even forgot to introduce myself. I'm D Money, Dion,
Yes,
and you are.
I am Lee.
And you are.
Me.
And you are.
Drum roll.
Boo, 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 boo.
I'm Rian.
Yay.
Welcome, Rian.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
Exactly,
We appreciate it.
We sure do.
Rihanna is a good friend of mine, but she is also a life coach, which I am super intrigued by. So I am very excited to have her on here and to, give some insight on what made her decide to become a life coach. And yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Rian, as I said. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Fab.
I am a life coach that specializes in childhood trauma and motherhood. Those are my two areas. In terms of when did I start life coaching, it was about 4 years ago. I quit my last form of employment and I was like, I am not doing this again, okay? And I was like, I need to find more meaning. I need to figure out what it is that sets my soul on fire, because I felt like the job I had come out of had burnt out my soul. So, and then it came to me like, life coaching is what I'd like to do. My career, the one I had just ended, was HR, and I got into that thinking it would be life coaching of some sort.
Yeah, of course, exactly. Yeah.
Because I knew from day one, I just love to help people. I love to hear people's thoughts and lives and pain and struggles, and I want to have a positive effect on them or help them through that. So I thought HR, and I remember being advised that when I was choosing what degree to do. Someone so vividly said to me, "You're so good with people, why don't you do HR?" And I was like, yes,
that would work.
that's what I want to do. But I went into it and I did it for like maybe about 10 years, and I was like, this is killing me. So when I quit my job during COVID, so I actually, that job, I was away, I was in Uganda, and I got this job, and at that time I felt like it was euphoria. I was like, I've made it. I've not just left the UK and the hustle and bustle. I've come to Uganda. I've got this job. I'm being paid in dollars. I was like living my best life. Only a year in to realize this is no. So that week I was like, I'm going home. I'm writing my resignation. I wrote it. I've resigned. And then I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do.
I'm going to do next. Yeah, exactly.
And then I figured, I came up with my name, Coco Life Coaching, and I've never looked back. So 4 years down the line, I'm working with people, I'm helping people figure out, where do their current struggles stem from, and most of the time those stem from our childhoods. And life coaching basically helps you, walks you alongside you, to figure out what are your beliefs, and where do those stem from. And for most of us, those stem from our childhoods. So my job is to intellectually hold your hand as you figure out the questions you need to ask yourself. And sometimes we avoid those questions. Sometimes we don't know what the questions are.
Yeah.
So I will guide you to those questions, and I will help you figure out what the answers are. And that's what I do.
Yay.
So thank you again for having me. I'm so excited.
Here. I have a quick question, because I know Dion had sparked some controversy last time.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
when
very
she
cool.
spoke about therapy.
Of course,
People,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
people that are in therapy and therapists. What would you say is the difference between somebody that would sought out a therapist between somebody that would sought out a life coach?
Okay, so they are quite interlinked. But therapists, I would say, because I've done forms of therapy myself, therapists and other people that are expertly trained in terms of psychiatry and psychology, I think they learn from an educational and academic standpoint to guide people from a broad understanding of literature and research and studies that have been there to study human behavior and so on, so that you will come to them as a therapist, and I've gone to therapists, and you're really trying to uncover, why am I doing this? Or like, you know, you're trying to learn from them, but they will teach you using broad studies and research. Life coaching, again, you come as a student. However, you're also going to become your own teacher because the answers come from you. In life coaching, it's like we fundamentally believe you hold the answers within you.
Okay.
So they are interlinked, but if you come to me for life coaching, I want you to be very clear that you're the one that will provide your own answers. I will guide you to the right questions. I will guide you to the right even answers, because sometimes we're unclear, but you have to come ready to be both the student and the teacher of your own journey.
Okay. Like that, thanks. Looking for a life coach.
Looking for a life coach.
You're like, now what do I want? A therapist
Is
or
that
a
a
life
life
coach? You got to make a
Exactly.
decision.
What would you think then it would be like the first step in people, let's say, breaking free from either their childhood traumas or things or bondage that kind of holds them back in adult life? So let's say if there was an avid step one, what would it be?
I think you've got to, and this comes from even childhood trauma experts, and I love so many of them. I read so much, I watch so many podcasts, and one of the key things that stands out is that you have to become curious. Why do I do what I do? What do I believe about myself? How do I see the world? You have to become curious, and a lot of the time that comes from pain. You go, something is not right with me, and that's also for me. One of the key also teachings in life coaching is that you are your own first client. So I often life coach people from having life coached myself. So a lot of this journey in my life coaching business and how I've been going about it has been having to coach myself. So I've had periods of time where I'm in real turmoil and I'm like, what's going on?
There's something.
And the way to uncover that has been out of curiosity.
Right.
I go, what is broken? What is causing me this level of pain? And so it starts off with that curiosity. You go, something's not right, and I'm committed to getting to the bottom of it.
To figuring out why and when.
Yeah.
That's really
And
true.
that will often lead you back to your childhood. Because you'd be surprised, but our views on how we see the world, we tend to think that it's so generic and that D holds the same view as me, Leash holds the same view as me. You guys might not. Because I see the world through the initial belief systems that were laid out in front of me that either I adopted or rejected from my childhood. So you've just got to become really curious about yourself. And then from there you will you will seek out the right help. And
true.
they say when the student is ready, the teacher will
appear.
Good one, baby. Because I had no clue which one.
You're
it
like,
was.
what's he
I was waiting for someone to finish it off.
So once you get curious, it's always like stepping
Yeah.
stones. You go from like being really curious to going, okay, this is the area that's not quite right. And then from there, you start learning about it or seeking the right help. And it builds, it really does.
Exactly. It's such an influx, really, in, I think, I'm quite happy that, like, our generation has established, let's say, boundaries,
Yes.
number one. And number two, has kind of decided that they're going to be curious about, let's say, what happened in their childhood in order for them to move forward, to be better individuals, instead of putting it under the rugs as our
Absolutely.
previous generation. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a different, like the cultural norms and the belief system. Because therapy, I think like 20 years ago, people say it was like unheard of to think to come up in a discussion, whereas now we all talk about it.
Yeah.
And maybe some groups of people, like men, are less likely to talk about it or to open up. But I think that's also changing. And us women, I think we're all very open to being like, what's therapy about? Maybe some people are not yet comfortable to discuss it, but maybe then they're more comfortable to discuss life coaching or counselling. There's all different forms. And if you're curious and bold enough and brave enough, you can really begin that journey.
Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very much so curious because also I've always thought that I have a vivid memory of my childhood. Like I know my childhood very well, but the older I've gotten, I've realized that I've only remembered the parts that I wish to remember. Right? So I haven't remembered a lot of the traumatic parts of my childhood, but slowly they are coming back to me.
Right.
But I am also like filtering them out.
Yes.
But I think, as you said, it is important to face those.
It's really important.
Yeah, those experiences to help you as you grow in this life. And especially as a parent, I know I have, especially with my daughter, I have definitely reverted to my childhood a lot when dealing with some of her behaviors. And I'm very curious as to, like, somebody that goes to you, how would you advise them to kind of guide them in that route to help them in being a parent when they're battling with things that have happened in their childhood and they're kind of seeing those things in their child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of the time, those things present in your child or children because you've not tackled them within you. So, and I can again speak for myself because being so clear about what, as you said, a lot of us, it's a protective mechanism where you block certain things out. One, you needed to do that in childhood. It's now been proven that that is a coping mechanism. As a child, we're so powerless to being able to dictate our environment that we figure out coping mechanisms to then survive. So if you're powerless, you either disassociate or you just go, I'm not equipped to deal with this, so let me block it out of my memory. But as you get older, you are now having to face those, be the one that's like guarding your children from it. So how do you do that? You tackle what those things were. As you're saying, you're now becoming more aware of like, I used to block that out, but it seems like it's coming up. So I think the way you begin to do that with anything that is painful, emotionally, psychologically, spiritual, is you can't run away from it. You've got to face it. You've got to be walking in the direction of pain. So allow yourself to, what are those painful, traumatizing events that happened? There's so many techniques. But again, you start off by talking to someone that can guide you. So, okay, which part of those were traumatizing? Which part of those have you blocked out? And what's the reason for blocking them out? Why is it that they were so painful? Or what were they triggering in you that you try to block out? Because if you don't address them, as you say, you subconsciously relive those and you pass those traumas on to your children. And we have to break those cycles. We cannot perpetuate the traumas and the pain and the suffering. Having touched upon the word suffering, depending on where you go with your journey, but one thing I believe is that it's a Buddhist teaching, it's a tenet, and it's life is suffering. We have to believe, like, I believe life is suffering. So you never want to feel like you can block pain out or you are going to escape suffering altogether. You have to face it, and it is really painful until you conquer the pain that you're trying to run away from. So I guess I would encourage you to understand what that pain was. Why was it so painful? And once you understand it, you kind of eliminate its power. You disempower it and you become more empowered.
Indeed.
So that then you squash it down so that it can't be passed on to your children. And that's so important.
Super important.
Yeah.
Like you talked about suffering, I really believe in that, because I discussed this a few weeks ago on this podcast about how there's a lot of in Christianity, we've got a lot of Christian preachers that are preaching in terms of prosperity, just prosperity all the time. Like we need to prosper, we need to let God get you that job, let God get you that money, let God get you that car, that house, everything that you want. But they don't talk about lamenting, and lamenting is so prominent in the Bible. Most people that were in there, Jesus, Esther, all of those people, they went through something, a phase of suffering. Job, they had to suffer first before they get the prosperity.
Absolutely.
And I think they're totally eliminating, and this, I only say this because obviously Christianity is pretty prominent right now, and there's an adverse amount of like Christian influencers, a huge influx, and all they're preaching is getting the dollars and getting the cash money, which is also great, but realize that actually life is genuinely about you suffering and how you navigate those suffering seasons and how you come out of it, which is really interesting. You know how Alicia's touched in terms of how we parent our children, considering what we have been through. Is it also, let's say, in your experience with either your clients or things that you've just observed in life in general? I hear a lot of people mention the fact that the partners that we pick are really sometimes a reflection of us.
Absolutely.
Okay, speak it and heal it.
Okay, yes. We can't heal it in this hour, but
they say that
we were just
what we dislike the most within the partners that we've chosen is really a reflection of something that's embedded in us.
There is that take. There's another way of looking at it, which is like, it's psychologically studied that we go through heartbreaks as children, right? And then whatever that heartbreak was, when you become an adult, you pick a partner of whom
the trauma that you suffered as a kid.
Yes, but in an attempt to rewrite the ending of that story. So if you, for example,
stop it.
Stop it. So
it's getting juicy.
We've got to continue. So if you felt that you weren't loved, you're gonna naturally, it's so crazy, but like your spidey senses are going to pick someone who is prone to not love you, because you want to prove that they're going to love you and then rewrite the ending of that story. And guess what? It never happens.
They ain't gonna love you.
They are not gonna love you. So the journey.
I said stop.
So the journey is always full circle, where you discover that you have to love yourself.
Right.
You have to rewrite the ending of your own story as a child, so that you can then see the world in a new lens of going, I don't need to pick you who's naturally not gonna love me. I now have a different lens to go, wait, you are loving me.
Right.
I see it from day 1 to day 100. You're gonna love me. But unfortunately, and I'm in the same camp, we go for the person who is supposed to rewrite our story, and I can confirm for personal experience,
you can only write your own story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, indeed. I really understand where you come from with that, actually. And I understand, like, the dislike that you have for yourself, it ends up reflecting in that person. That person actually dislikes you.
They
don't like you. You're just there about because one day.
That's the thing, you dislike yourself, and you're going out to think that if they prove, I did a little video about this that said, like, I'll actually repeat the words. I said, that morning it came to me, I said, I had been going out into the world and going for the most rough around the edges, like, horrible person that I could meet, and saying, like, if they can be this broken and this mean and they then love me, that means I can love me.
I'm special.
I'm special. And then, like, it gives me the validation to love myself. Does that ever happen, ladies?
No, absolutely not. You're not special, honey.
You're not special. None of us are.
Exactly.
We're only special to ourselves. You heal that wound for yourself.
Amen.
And you love yourself. So when anyone dares to love you, first of all, they've got to meet the benchmark. And secondly, you already love yourself.
Of course.
So if they come and go,
It is what
It
it
is
is.
what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
we have to heal first
Yeah.
Okay.
before we try to
A
rewrite
lot of
any
people don't want to
story.
heal though.
No,
don't wanna
they
heal.
don't. They don't.
And they get trapped into that cycle of constantly chasing that thing, which, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be different forms. It could
Yeah.
be the love. It could be, I don't know. It could be money, or it could be the validation of men. It might not even be that you want.
Indeed.
It can be all in different forms.
So what do you say to somebody who may have had love from both parents and they don't have mummy or daddy issues, but they're still picking partners that are subpar?
Okay, I would say there's no one in the world that doesn't
doesn't
have
have
mummy
mummy or daddy.
or
Or daddy
daddy
issues.
There's not a single person, and one of the experts on this childhood trauma is called Gabor Mate. He's
I
my
love
personal
Gabriel
hero.
Mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he says he does shows where he'll invite people and he'll say, who doesn't think they went through any childhood trauma?
Ooh, yes, I know that guy. Yeah.
And the lady stood up and she was like, I was loved. I felt like I got everything. And one of the key things when he was describing it, he said, just from the sheer confidence of her saying that meant that she was trying to protect herself from something. So we can all take comfort in that we all have mummy and daddy issues. We all have childhood trauma. And it's not to throw blame around. It's to say we all are valid enough to be able to unpack it and to say, what
Identify
was it?
it.
Yeah, identify it.
Okay. Right.
So
Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving this series.
Yes.
I'm like, ooh. I'm like, we don't have enough time.
Right? We need more
Come on
time.
here a couple times.
Exactly.
Seriously.
A couple of times
Unpack
indeed.
this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A couple of times indeed. But yeah, that the whole I hear you when you say Shabim, because a lot of people don't necessarily want to unpack stuff.
Yeah.
Because for them, genuinely, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And walking around hurting people, hurting themselves
Exactly.
is better than them identifying the actual thing that's wrong with
or
them.
staying in that trauma and never really confronting it and just
Right.
moving through life like
Yeah, I'm me. I'm ignorance is bliss. That's me.
I used to be ignorance is
Yeah.
bliss.
Yeah.
In my 20s, it hit me like a ton of
Yeah,
bricks.
yeah, it
I had to
does.
confront everything.
Everything.
I had no choice because it was either that or mentally collapse.
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
So-
Yeah.
So how would you what advice would you give the ignorance is bliss?
It depends. How would you describe your ignorance being bliss? How do you ignore
I would
it?
say not in terms of okay, I am hurting people and things like that.
no.
But maybe
Yeah.
I'm
Hurting
hurting.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm choosing to not confront, those traumas or that pain. I'm not even looking at any type of ways to, fix this problem. Or
Okay.
try to confront and realize like, okay, why am I feeling like this? Why am I in this constant loop of pain, anxiety, depression, and, feeling like, okay, I just can't do this anymore. I'm not good enough. I can't do this, right? So,
Do you feel you know what it stems down to?
no.
No.
And I don't touch on that because I'm just like, whatever.
Okay, so
We move.
It goes back to in small steps. Instead of turning away, you're gonna have to face. You're gonna have to
Turn
come back
around,
this way
exactly,
in
come
small
back that
steps.
way.
Okay, what am I feeling discomfort about right now? What am I avoiding? There's another. It's called The School of Life. It's on YouTube, and
I feel like we're
watch
just
the
tapping
same
into the same thing.
Yeah, and he's called, I think I'll get his name wrong, but
Alain de Botton.
Yeah. So he says at the end of each day, ask yourself, why am I sad? So start to ask yourself questions that go, what am I avoiding?
Yeah.
Because you probably will know subconsciously. If we had enough time, we could get to the bottom of what you're feeling. But because, as you said, you're avoiding it.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
Yeah.
Dodging it.
So
by
that's me.
every
I'm over here.
given
And we talk about crying. Like, I can't cry.
Yeah.
Like,
You
yeah.
can't?
No.
When was the last time you
Yeah.
cried?
Yeah,
At
when
a
did
funeral.
you-
At a
Girl.
funeral.
Yeah.
I cry every Tuesday.
Yeah, I cry all the
Give me an
time.
opportunity.
Yeah, give me any
Yeah.
opportunity.
Let
I'm
me
gonna
cleanse.
cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, because
And also too, it wasn't till the end where it was like, I think they played a Cleo Soul song, so that was a trigger for me. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm really here. I'm really at a funeral, right?
Yeah.
So even then, even though I was crying, I don't even think I was facing the fact that
You would
I
think
was
you were
at
crying because you were touched by the song.
Exactly.
Not the death.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not the grief of actually losing somebody that I know.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would be more fear of confronting whatever the issue may be. So for you, how would you walk someone through like confronting the fear, then getting to the issue?
How would the fear of like the emotion?
Anything. Some people are so afraid of like, if I start to even think about
Yes.
that thing,
Yes.
I'm going to fall apart. And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
falling apart for them seems like definitely
end of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Well, you realise that, like, okay, we've all got those fears. As you say, we all think, like, I can't go to that thing. It will leave me on the floor dead. But when you ask questions, the first question, it's not going to leave you on the floor. So each question, you're getting closer and closer. And it's almost like you're breaking that big fear into smaller chunks so you can digest those because they're smaller. You don't even know you're heading towards the direction of that. It's like the fear is constantly the fear of the unknown. You're so scared of what you think that pain is going to feel and look like that you're like, I can't even face that direction. And yes, it is painful, but you realize like, there's so many things personally that I was so afraid of confronting. And then I did it and I was like, that's what I was scared of. I'm so much stronger than that. So it's just to be guided. And if you can't do it yourself, that's understandable. But it's to realize like by any little chunk that you take out of that big fear, you're disempowering it. You're making yourself empowered, and that pain and that struggle and that fear, it's got nothing on you. On the stuff that we've all confronted in our lives.
It's nothing at all. Yeah. And you're
It's
truly the
nothing.
chosen one for you to be going through whatever it was. Because I say this about the struggles I had with postpartum and ending up in hospital and all of that stuff because of the postpartum process and depression and everything that was happening and lack of sleep and running on E. I said that it really empowered me so much actually going through that process.
Exactly.
Really truly crashing out taught me and made me realize, wow, I can really actually control my mind. I am that
Absolutely.
strong that my mind, I reclaimed it back.
Amen.
Right? It was being taken from me, but I reclaimed it back.
Yeah.
And that sense of acceptance of this is the card I've been dealt with.
Yes.
Now continue to play the game, continue to
Yes.
deal the cards, but the cards are now in your hand and you can see everyone else's. I think that really changed the game for me. Once I realized I'm just accepting this is what I've been dealt with. I have multiples. Most of the world sometimes has multiples.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You just have to navigate. And yes, maybe I don't have as much as a support system if I was back home in Zimbabwe or if I lived closer to my family or whatever it may be. But there is also women that are dealt with that as well, being single parents, no partner, and everything and everything in between that are in worse times and worse conditions. So yes, I should be thankful to reclaim that. But that peace only came after I'd accepted.
I love
Yeah.
that. Well, two things that I want to touch upon there. One is the word acceptance. Okay. Self-acceptance is so important. That was one of the things I thought, I don't know how many things we'll get to discuss, but self-acceptance is the understanding that it's different to this thing that we're sold constantly about self-love. Self-acceptance means that you understand as a human and going through the human experience, you're going to have the lows.
Indeed.
You don't constantly have to be stood in front of the mirror going, I love me, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm No, you don't. Yes, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with it. But you embrace the human experience of like, sometimes I'm going to be in the trenches. Sometimes I'm going to hate my body. Sometimes I'm going to hate my face. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to look at my reflection. Sometimes I'm like, these kids are driving me mad.
Yes.
Sometimes like you embrace the whole, I'm not going to bash myself. I'm going to accept it all. So self-acceptance is so crucial. So as you said, it's like, you just embrace everything, good, bad, ugly, flawed, you know, and also the good as well, as the whole thing of sometimes we want to be modest and be like, oh, no, if you're smashing it, give yourself
Smashing it.
the props. If you're all of it, it's all part of the human experience. The second thing, when you were saying like other people are, you know, dealt the same sort of cards or the struggles, one thing we also mustn't do is minimize our own pain.
Indeed.
So so as much as you're right, other people we can't compare struggles and pain.
We can't.
So
I'm guilty of that.
yeah, we
I'm
all
always
are.
like,
I think that's why I mentioned it, because I do that. I'm always
I
like,
do it a
well,
lot.
But
yeah,
this
like,
person is
Yeah.
this,
like,
so
what
why
have
am
I
I
got
not
to
able to
No,
cope?
no.
Yeah.
And that's why I love life coaching, because we all have a voice. If you're sat with me for an hour, there's nothing off limits. We can go through all of it. And nothing's off limits. So
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah.
It's really dope. Yeah. It's really dope.
Yeah. Coach.
We love that for us.
Yeah, we could go on. For
Of
ages.
course,
Yeah.
exactly.
But what advice would you give to someone who's considering finding a life coach but
Exactly,
is on the
yeah.
fence, a bit hesitant about?
So again, when you do become curious, you want to know what areas of your life do you want to touch upon. Some people, there's so many coaches out there. There'll be career coaches, there'll be fitness coaches. So you want to find a coach that kind of specializes in the areas that you want to focus on. Personally, as I said, I really have a focus and a passion about childhood trauma, because I think everything stems from that. And when it comes to motherhood, that's another passion, because I feel that I've set a standard for myself, and that's only excellence in motherhood. I am not falling as much as we are having the human experience. I will have terrible days where I slack, but my standard for myself is excellence. So I think you want to find a coach who you resonate with, and you want to say she or he would guide me on the journey that I want to get to. Yeah.
Cool,
So you be very picky and selective. Yeah.
We're gonna obviously
Do your research.
We're gonna leave all of your details
Yes,
and your
definitely.
information in the
Yeah.
description, so that if
Yes.
people can reach out, they can reach out to you.
Sure.
Yeah. Really dope conversation. I'm happy we had it.
Thank you.
Exactly. Shall we
100%.
just switch things up a bit?
Yeah.
Let's do our hot takes for the week. Okay, so hot takes is a segment that Mimi came up with brilliantly, as always. For the week that we discuss something that's a hot take. So it's either something that is controversial, that is within pop culture, that's in the group chats, whatever it may be, but it's not it's not a statement that you would necessarily say in a large group of people in an open environment. But here we are, of course, on mics.
Of course.
Speaking about our hot takes. Let's start with our guest, actually.
yeah.
Let's do
I
that.
think we said we would start somewhere over there.
Oh my gosh.
So let's-
over here.
I actually don't mind. I'll start my hot
go
take.
ahead.
I think I
Okay.
started last time, but
I'll
it's
go.
fine.
I'll go.
Okay,
I'll go.
go
Okay.
ahead.
Go ahead.
So my hot take relates to something that you touched on in your intro earlier. You're not in love. You're just in love with the idea of who that person will be to you.
Okay.
Okay.
You're not in love with
Right.
him
Yeah.
You're not in love with him.
Or her, sis.
or her. Or her. Yeah. You're not in love with her. You're not in love with him.
Yeah.
Especially not in the first. I have this thing where like I feel like a relationship is not really established until like 3 years.
3
'Cause-
years.
Maybe as-
3 years,
Yeah.
3 years, because I feel like the first person the person that you meet initially is just a representative, and then slowly they start to unpack. Slowly the filters come down, and then the real person is revealed, and by that time it's year 3, because some people are really good at like holding
Oh,
on to that.
masking and
Yeah,
holding
masking,
on to it,
exactly.
yeah.
So you don't believe in the like, oh, I met him
Love
a
at
couple
first
months
sight.
and
Girl,
Yeah,
no.
go, hell no.
I will leave a relationship
Yeah.
after 3 years.
Yeah.
If you've shown me to not be the person that you presented to me in the first time,
Yeah. So can you-
I've known I know a couple. They're 10 years deep.
That's
Yeah,
okay. It
I
works.
don't
I'm
know.
not saying it doesn't
After-
work.
after
It
a
works for
couple
some people. I'm just
months,
saying, me personally, that's what.
Generally speaking,
And
I
I,
guess
I,
it's
I
a
also,
fluke.
I also think
The anomaly.
generally as well with the couples that you said, I've not specifically the couple that you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
some
yeah.
of these couples are actually not showing us that side.
Exactly.
So you're
True.
only seeing what you're seeing
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's what they're showing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm a firm believer in this. I think I discussed this with you
Yeah.
the other day. I get to see a lot of these, let's say, fluencers that are on Instagram, and they say, oh yeah, I've been waiting. I'm in my waiting season for my husband. Then they meet someone within a week, and then 3 months later that person has proposed, and then 3 months later they've had a child, and then 2 years deep
Yeah.
they're getting a divorce.
He's a narcissist.
And exactly. Life update.
Yeah. He's a narcissist.
Life update.
Story
I didn't know he was a mom.
Exactly. Story
Oh
time.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
You never expected this.
No.
I've been back after a 9 month
Yeah.
break.
Here's what happened.
Exactly.
But that's my hot take,
That's
and
a
I'm
good
sticking
hot
to
take.
it.
Yeah, good job with the
Okay.
hot take. What's yours then, Rian? We should skip to you
Okay,
now.
well, mine's completely different.
Yeah,
okay.
go
My hot take, and I'm going to say it with chest.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Puff that chest.
Right. If in 2025 you do not recycle,
Oh.
we have a problem. Okay, that's my hot
Wait.
take.
That is a
Hasn't
fantastic
The whole
hot take.
recycling industry been shown to be a bit of a scam.
It is a
just-
scam.
Yeah,
And that's the thing.
Scam.
And that's the thing. I actually don't care. I just think
just think
recycle.
it's
that's the
about
idea.
you have to give. Like we all
And
take,
in our borough,
take.
it's a scam.
It's definitely a scam,
Probably, yeah. But like you got a separate. I've got like 5 different recycling.
Of course you do.
bins.
Aw.
Of course you do. Sounds
I've got-
about right.
I recycle batteries. I recycle
wow.
different plastics. I recycle. I've got my main. So listen, we've got to get on the recycling.
I agree. It's
We've
important
got to do
for the
our part,
future.
even
Yeah,
if the
definitely,
governments and the kids,
the
like
children
future.
are our future.
Yeah.
So you got to show that you care about more than just your
the
little
world.
household, right? Making a
We are
Oh,
the
future.
I was
We
thinking
are
heal the
the
world.
Yes,
better
the world.
Oh yeah.
It's all Michael.
It's all right.
He was
It's
really
all
trying to
Michael,
save
it
these
don't
kids.
matter.
He was
Exactly.
probably recycling, guys.
probably
We should be
was.
recycling.
No,
right?
that's a good
Probably
hot
was.
Yeah.
take. Actually, it's
my
different,
hot
but
take.
it's a good hot
I'm
take.
sorry, I'm so extreme.
Not different.
Definitely different.
Very weird.
Well,
But you're a guest, so we won't offend.
Exactly. We sure won't. What's your
Mine
hot
is
take?
probably the same though. Then it's weird.
Okay.
My hot take is you don't need to prove to everybody that you are financially stable by showing that you have bought numerous properties to flip and Airbnb
Oh, God.
to make money.
Oh,
okay?
God.
Flipping culture.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
I'm tired. Not everybody wants to buy a house.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Not everybody wants.
Not
to buy
everybody
a
wants to
house.
buy a house.
Everybody's okay.
I
Like,
don't understand why
buy
people
some land.
patronize the people.
it's all right.
Buy some land.
Exactly. Some land.
Yeah, go and buy some
They
land.
find out how much
As
money
in-
you make. They're like, go and buy this. Go buy. Like
You
what?
know?
I'm
No.
gonna buy what I want to buy.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Actually, that's the new
Yeah.
thing. It's the land, not
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
house.
buy the
Exactly.
land.
Buy
You don't
the
own the land here.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, no,
that's a good
that's
one.
my please.
You're tired of the flippers.
I'm tired.
The
It's not
investors.
everybody doesn't want to flip. It's okay.
no.
It's all right. It's okay.
What is flipping actually here in the UK? Is it the same?
You-
I think
you
it
buy,
might be
you
slightly different.
You
spruce the household and
Yeah,
then you
you
sell
buy
it.
like
Redevelop
like a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
You put so much money
A crack
into
house.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
You buy a crack
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
and you flip it.
So you're obviously contributing to gentrification.
Of course
Yeah.
you are.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Good
So,
point.
yeah.
Good point. Sis.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Exactly.
See,
Of
we're
course.
all helping the world.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
sure are.
Yeah.
Just
Solving
in
the world's
different
problems.
ways.
Different ways.
We've got everyone covered.
Of
Yeah.
course. I think
What is yours?
my one is going back into the deepness, but I have to say my hot take of the week is that detachment is not a personality.
Oh.
There are several people that I have seen on the internet of Beyonce that basically preach detachment. And they say, detach from your friends, cut them off, do this. If they don't serve you, get rid of them. Da, da, da. But they're making it somewhat of a personality for themselves. They are not really anyone else besides the detachment that they're preaching. And it's like, you must not detach from everyone. It's not normal. You should be able to make relationships that are healthy, that obviously provide you the support that you need. And yes, of course, cut off the people that need to be cut off, but not necessarily everyone. So yeah, detachment culture needs to skedaddle. Yeah.
Because you've got to love people through their ugliness
of course,
too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've spoken about this
Yeah.
too, because there's certain things that most probably would irritate Alicia
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I do that you would love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I believe there's levels for it. You can't tell me that everybody needs
Everyone
to be
needs
cut
to
off
be
because
cut
they don't
off.
serve
No,
you.
Yeah, exactly.
no, but sometimes I do get into that mode. I'm just like, I'm just gonna
Cut off this
everybody
one,
off.
cut off this person, cut off that person. I'm
Maybe
just like,
because I
no.
can't deal with myself rather than the people themselves.
Exactly.
I can't deal with what you do to me, so it's me. Yeah. But,
And then
yeah.
don't forget,
I
it's
love the
what.
self-awareness.
Yeah.
That's good.
Also, it's important to know that sometimes those people are doing those things because you're allowing them to do it. So yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. Actually.
Boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Boundaries
sometimes you
indeed.
just want to let people be themselves.
Yeah,
and then
not
they
too
just
much.
But that,
stretch.
maybe
Yeah.
sometimes that's okay, because I have, if this is one of my toxic traits, it's that I want to see your true colors. So
Okay.
I'm going to let you run riot. But then I've seen enough.
You're already seeing enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, how am I going to reel you
Can't
back in? Because
unsee it.
now
Yeah,
I
of
need you
course.
to behave.
Yeah.
And that's where the
It's
I need
too-
to cut you off comes into it. Yeah.
You're doing too much.
Yeah, you're doing
now.
too much now. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing hot takes, ladies.
Yeah.
There's a little bit in there for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Have you
Tell
got-
us what you guys think.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Or
hot
can
takes
someone
for this
write their
week?
hot takes in our comment section?
Okay, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah, put in your hot takes in
Yeah.
there, because I'm sure you've got plenty. Yeah,
do.
of course. A talkative podcast. I'm sure it's got talkative people who listen to us. Audience,
Yeah.
rather.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to tap into our thread of the week?
Oh,
Allow It thread of the
yes.
week?
Our Allow It thread of the week is very funny because, yeah, I've thought about this many times since living here. So,
Since we're all, what are we? All immigrants.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all-
Love it.
Yeah.
All immigrants.
what do they call the Caucasians though?
Expats.
Yeah. No, I'm an expat.
Are you an expat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm an expat. as
Love
well.
it. Yeah.
I am an expat because why is one group of people called expats,
Expats
and the
and the
other
other one
group
called
called immigrants?
Colonization.
Yeah.
I'm an
of course.
expat.
It's
You
all
are.
rooted in
You
white
are.
supremacy. I'm
It
sorry.
is.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another
Another
day.
day, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
I
not take
love
it there.
No, I was
we
gonna
should.
go there.
We'll come back to
We'll
that.
come
Don't
back.
worry
Okay,
about it.
okay.
The audience need to know we can take it there.
Yeah. Just gonna shake the table.
So yeah, since we're all expats here,
Yes.
what's one unspoken rule in the UK
Oh.
that you have had to acclimatize to since moving here? I will go first.
Yes.
Okay.
I have no idea why the Brits just love to queue for
my
no
God,
damn
yeah, that was
reason.
gonna
Oh.
We
The
need a
queue.
queue.
The
We need a
queuing.
queue.
I'm with the queuing.
We need
The
a queue.
queuing.
So where
We
are you
need
gonna
a
be?
queue.
Nah, the
Official.
queuing is
Where you
stupid.
gonna
No, I
be if
can't
you don't
stand is the
queue?
queuing with the cars too. Just
Yeah.
queuing, and there's a whole free lane.
Just queuing.
I'm
to
like,
queue.
why are you queuing
'Cause
when
isn't
there's a
one the
lane
fast
that's free?
lane?
No,
Huh?
but no, it's just a
Why
free
just
lane.
queuing?
Go into whatever lane
Fair
is
enough.
free.
Because it's the
We
queue.
need the
Yeah.
queuing though,
Why?
because it puts order. It makes
No.
it's,
And
Yeah.
fairness,
Yeah.
equality,
Yeah.
equity.
Equality.
a little bit of respect, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
goes a long
Orderly.
way.
Yeah.
Orderliness.
Of course, exactly.
Nah, forget that thing.
You just want to come and just go right in the
I just
front.
want to, and I do it.
Yeah,
I do it.
And do you ever have any confrontation? Like,
No.
excuse me.
Me and you will fight.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I get
I
angry when
haven't met you
people.
yet while I'm skipping the queue.
I get angry when people like, you know, like when you're at the tube station and everyone's kind of
Definitely.
like,
At the
Oh,
and
yeah,
then like,
everyone is
someone
like
just-
doing their thing.
if people
At the
come at me
tube
left field
station?
and you see me there,
yeah, you start.
You're
to
right.
I'm like, no, we're not doing this. I was here.
Yeah, I'm not queuing at the tube. I got places to be. In New,
So do I.
And New York-
and I lined up for
in
that.
New York City, do you think people are queuing at
What
the
happens
subway?
there? They just.
To each his own. Get your ass on the train or get left.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's waiting in the line to get on the train?
The
No.
British.
Yeah, the British
apparently.
dudes.
No.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What is one of mine? The saying sorry every 2 seconds
Yeah.
pisses me right off.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Because you're not sorry, especially to me.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
second
Yeah, I know
nature.
you're not.
Yeah.
So just
Oh,
stop
sorry,
saying sorry.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Just say excuse me. Just saying sorry. Oh, sorry. Did I?
Yeah.
The other person's the one that's done something wrong, but you're saying
Yeah,
sorry
I
to
know.
them. How are you apologizing for something you haven't done?
Yeah.
So true.
And then somehow walking out still disgruntled. You should have requested an apology instead of
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
apologizing. It doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense to me.
they're,
It's very.
yeah, it's
I
weird.
want them to be outlandish. I want you to tell me how you really feel.
Mm.
I don't
you,
want
though?
no whispers. I do actually, because then I know where I stand.
Do you mean like when you're getting a service or?
In any instance, in the workplace, sorry, Dion.
Oh, yeah.
In
Yeah.
any kind of instance,
Yeah.
when I'm getting a service, sorry
Yeah.
because, I don't know, in any type of situation at the school run, and someone's like, oh, sorry. No, if you're not sorry, don't say sorry.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to copy that in the sense that I think the Britishness is that a lot of the time you're questioning like, when you've said that, do you really mean that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, like, I love
Something like
this.
this.
Someone
They
might
don't
say, I
love
love this, and you're
Yeah,
thinking,
I'm like,
actually,
girl, you don't.
You mean the opposite.
Yeah.
They'll say
So-
excuse me and then say fucking wanker. On
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
That
Like, yeah, no.
insincerity.
Just tell me
Yeah.
I'm a fucking wanker.
Yeah,
I'm okay with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather walk
I
away
agree.
knowing that.
Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
what? Like, and not to go too deep, but it does. That's probably what causes a lot of anxiety in us, like
I think
immigrants,
so.
because it's like going like we're used to people telling us what they really think. Like in Africa, people will be like, but here you're like, wait, did they think
I
that?
don't do.
Yeah.
Do I know?
Yeah, do I do it, or are you being
Exactly.
sarcastic? Like,
Yeah,
so
I don't really know how
I'm
you
with
feel.
you. Like,
I need to know where
Yeah.
exactly
Where you
you
stand,
and then
yeah.
I'm good with that.
I'll copy that fully.
Exactly. Go for it.
I had to acclimatise to British tea.
Oh yeah, British
Oh,
tea.
not British tea.
Not the
The
tea bag.
time.
Yeah, also tea time.
The tea.
I remember
It's
hearing tea
Is it
time.
tea? Is it dinner?
It's
Like,
dinner.
What is it? It's dinner.
When I was younger, and like
Why
my friend
we
was like, "Do you
say
want to come to
dinner?
mine for tea?" I
So
thought I
say-
was gonna have like chai,
And then they say
Chai.
and then
Yeah.
also
Chai.
they say
Ugandan
school
chai.
dinners.
but it was dinner.
school dinners, but it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So how are
Yeah.
the kids having school dinner
School dinner.
and then
Don't
coming home
know.
for tea?
They've got
Oh,
their language
yeah.
all messed up. Yeah.
No, they're
'Cause you
having
come-
school dinners
dinner and then they go
they're
home
going
for
home
tea.
for tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's around
they
the time.
switched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
like,
never
what kind
tea.
There must be some historical British explanation for it.
Wow.
I want to know about the tea. I'm not gonna lie. When I first came here, obviously I was working, and you had your regular lunch break, and then you also had tea, and I was just
what's the
what's
tea
that?
about?
What is
Yeah.
I feel like it's changed now. They've gentrified it.
They've
It's
gentrified
like,
it.
it's like coffee break.
it's coffee
Yeah.
break.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
coffee
probably
break.
easier to
Yeah.
understand.
Exactly.
Yeah, which makes more sense. But
like
the
tea
British do
break.
like their tea. But I actually meant the taste of the tea.
Oh, you
Oh,
thought
okay, you
chai
don't
as
like-
in
Yeah,
Mm.
like a
Mm.
nice, spicy, well seasoned cup of tea.
African
No,
tea.
just a tea bag,
Of course.
bit of water,
Yeah.
some semi-skimmed. Bob's your uncle.
not
And then
even
you're
whole
good to
fat.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Another one that I don't want to say it because it's kind of controversial.
Say it.
Well,
Go
you said
on. We
it.
like Dion. You know
Yeah.
you're the controversial
Exactly.
one.
But I just think it's very British when so I have 3 boys and they're absolutely adorable, if I may say so myself. But for Brits they're adorable now. Let them be 16 and wear a tracksuit and they are done.
You are very right.
Like
Yeah.
instantly, let them get locks. Let them get a Nike Tech.
Speak on
Yeah.
Let them drive an Audi.
Which
They're
actually
gonna
reminds
get
me.
stopped 10 times a day.
Kemi. What's her name? Kemi.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I know
the
Kevin.
And the
Yeah.
adolescence thing.
Yeah.
And how
conservative
they,
lady?
yeah, she said she, was it her that actually said it? So please don't quote me on this.
She
How they
is,
switched
she did.
the,
Yeah, she said they
the ro-
switched the
so
race
yeah,
of the boy to be a white boy, but technically it was actually meant to be a black boy.
For
yeah,
what?
because
For adolescence.
yeah, for adolescence, yeah, the storyline it was supposed to be a black boy. They
So
switched,
what does
They
she
didn't
mean
switch.
by
but they
that?
didn't.
She's crazy.
Oh my god.
So white boys don't stab each
She
other,
said, like she no.
She did.
She's lying.
and she's
Like,
black,
and
and she's
it doesn't make no
Nigerian.
sense. It don't make no sense.
African.
That woman is
she's
smoking crack
well,
cocaine.
she's already like,
Yeah.
she said a lot of things that
are
you know,
just
that
wild.
are- yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it is very British for my children to be very cute now. I get stopped in the park, everywhere. Oh my God, they're adorable. Oh my God, they're so cute. But then let them be. Camille will be 16 at some point. His brothers will be just pre-pubescent as well. So
You'll
I don't
become a
know.
suspect.
And let all three of them walk
God
past the
forbid.
park with the latest Air Maxes and it's all over. They're no longer, but Caucasian young men are still called handsome. They're still gonna break hearts. They're gonna do this.
Even
"Oh,
when
so
they wear Nike
handsome.
Tech as well.
Oh, you're gonna
Yeah.
break them hearts. Oh my God, isn't he such a lovely boy?
Yeah.
But if my boy speaks a certain way, goes to a certain place, has his hair in a certain thing, all of a sudden he's a man and a thug. So yeah, that's also very
Sure.
British.
It's unfortunate.
On that note,
Very British.
very
No,
British.
no.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us on this
Yes,
episode of
thank
Allow
you.
It.
Yes,
It's been
yeah.
fantastic. Make
It
sure
has
to
been,
please
yeah.
continue to subscribe, like, comment. The comments are filtering through and we love them.
Yeah, more and more
Um,
comments.
More and more comments.
Yes,
because we love to see
especially for Shamim.
Please, no more.
Yes. Bring the
that.
comments.
Oh yes, of course. I saw
Yes.
the one for Shamim. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
interesting.
Bring more
comments.
comments. Rian, tell people where they could find
Of
you.
course,
at.
yeah.
So, I mean, I'm mostly on Instagram. I've got an email address, which maybe we can
We'll put it in the comments.
Comments,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not big on social media, but email is a great way to find me. I've got Instagram, which is Coco Life Coaching. I guess being a mother, I don't necessarily advertise myself so much. I'm busy being a mum, but yes, I'm definitely happy to have anyone
Yeah,
who wants
yeah,
to
yeah.
reach me, find me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Also, we are live and direct once a month. The last Thursday, is it the first?
Whichever. A Thursday in a month.
So we'll come to you a Thursday in a month. If you
Yeah.
guys think we've disappeared, we have not
We have
disappeared.
not.
We are here.
Yeah, we're still alive and
Yes,
kicking.
we are here. We're doing things. We are brewing in the background.
Of course. And there
Yes,
is
yeah.
several, and I mean several episodes that you guys can catch up on.
Exactly,
Yeah. You can realize how
exactly.
much we've grown.
Yes, we actually want you guys to,
Just
make
up
sure
your
you
game
just
with our past
watch
episodes.
all of those episodes.
course,
Dion loves talking,
I do.
so
I do.
listen to
Yeah.
all of the things.
But
that
don't
she's
meet me
had
in
to say.
person except the same Dion. Because
Yeah.
you're
I
just
don't
not
wanna talk
gonna
to you in
get the
person.
same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just on camera.
Just on camera. I love
Yeah.
talking on camera, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. My name is D for D Money.
Yes, I am Leash.
Mimi.
And Rianne.
Have a good week, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This is Allow It. Bye.
Bye.